Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Counterpunched with Counterpunched Boxing News Round 2. And I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. This is a Q&A. This video is dedicated for the questions that was asked about the losses of two different fighters. I've done a couple videos on this, but this is a little different. Okay, because people will say, oh, well, you're an AJ fanboy and you favor AJ over Deontay Wilder. You know, and like I've always told people, I go with what makes sense. I don't go for each individual boxer. What I do is I look at the situation and how they handled the situation. Okay? Both lost for the first time. AJ lost first in June, Wilder in February. Both were stopped in similar ways. They were knocked down multiple times. Joshua went down more, of course, twice as many. Okay? All right. Before we get somebody in the comments saying, no, he was knocked down 4. Okay? I'm acknowledging that. But the 7th round, the fights were stopped in ways that they didn't want the fight to be stopped. But that wasn't the issue in either fight. Okay, I know Wilder didn't want the fight to be stopped, neither did Joshua. But that wasn't the point. What was the true differences between the losses? Okay, the fans. All right, the fans, the people, things that were involved. You look at Joshua. A rumor let out that Joshua had a concussion. Other channels said that he was knocked out. Other channels said that he was hit with a punch that gave him a concussion. He was dropped in sparring, knocked out in sparring. He had a panic attack in the dressing room. Now, all those things, okay, compared to Wilder, well, it's supposed to have been some spiked water. He felt like a zombie. Wilder said that. He was off, had an off night. Wilder said that. What else? Glovegate 1, which had nothing to do with Glovegate 2, because Glovegate 1 was in the fight in December of 2018, which that was from a reaching group of channels, a reaching group of people. What else? Martin Carefoot. All that sprung up. Okay, so we had, all of a sudden, he popped out of hiding. Oh, I was paid. So it was a lot that surrounded that fight. Then like the drug test. Oh, he was, because Martin Carefoot, the drug test was supposed to prove that Tyson Fury was capable of cheating. So if he could cheat 5 years ago, he could cheat now. That was debunked. So they had to run to something else. And the one thing, the differences between the two, how they were different, is the way the fighters treated the loss. Wilder did say, the better man won the night, and he really didn't show up for the press conference. I guess he wanted to go in. What I've learned recently, he didn't go to the hospital or whatnot, but, other images prove that they were stitching his ear up, so maybe that was somewhere else. Maybe that was in the dressing room. More than likely, I think that was in the dressing room. Joshua was beat. All the concussion, all the knockout rumors, all that was false. Because he said it was false. He shut them all down. But how did he do it? He spoke. Okay? He spoke. He shut all those rumors down. Nothing was wrong. And then a lot of people say, look, that wasn't Joshua, Bob Arum. A lot of people. Everyone that's seen that fight couldn't believe it. But seeing is believing. Just like a lot of people couldn't believe that Tyson Fury could drop Wilder the way he dropped him. But, of course, that's when other rumors came about. Oh, the way the gloves looked. Oh, Glovegate 2.0. So then you resurrected a whole nother thing. Oh, look how that glove looked. But the problem is, why didn't you guys catch that 2 months ago? But, of course, Wilder ain't saying anything. Again, that's fault. It's on Wilder at the end of the day. Regardless of what he does in the future, regardless of that, it's what he allowed to happen. Yeah, he sits back and he watched people say this and that and the other, but Joshua didn't. When asked Joshua or asked his management, Eddie Hearn, no, there was nothing wrong. No, he didn't get knocked out. No, he didn't have a concussion. No, he was perfectly fine. He was in good shape. He just got beat by Andy Ruiz, so congratulate him. That was the difference. Wilder's side, nothing. Shelly Finkel, nothing. JD's, nothing. Mark Breland, nothing. Deontay Wilder did one interview, which he said he didn't feel right. He felt like a zombie. But there were other things that he wanted to keep on wraps. And then all these other channels that were supporters or so-called supporters of Wilder took what he said and ran with it and made all this up in the third. For all they could have paid Martin Carefoot to come forward or something. I don't know, because it's just too convenient for this guy to just come out of hiding for 5 years. Even though the Wilder situation was more messy, I think the Anthony Joshua situation was more. I think it was more viewed, And I wasn't the only one to report it. All we can do is report the sources that come to us. So how it works is we receive sources. All right, we receive sources, and the sources that we give, we can make our own videos and conclusion off those, and I counterpunch with my own opinion. That's how it works. It was no different from Joshua to Wilder. The only difference with Wilder had a lot of people that supported him that were speaking for him, and he didn't speak for himself. Joshua spoke for himself, like, no, that didn't happen. Okay, he caught me with a good shot. I never fully recovered. And, boom, that's it. I lost. Even though, he was out of gas. He needed to get all that muscle off. There were reasons. Just like Wilder. Reasons were Wilder gained weight. Okay, he's normally 218, 220. That's his sweet spot. That's the best possible shape he can be in. He doesn't need 230 pounds. I don't give a shit how big Tyson Fury is. And he was 273. Tyson Fury wrestled him a lot of the time. That takes juice out of your back. Especially how Tyson Fury had him in a headlock and putting his body weight on him. All those are factors. Those affect your legs. Okay? And the costume excuse was just pathetic, because a lot of people thought that Wilder said that and he didn't say that. But since he didn't say that, he should have came out and stopped that rumor, because that rumor was humiliating. It was a humiliating rumor, and it made him look weak as a man. It made him look weak as a black man, because a black man is led to be strong. Okay? What do you say? Strong black man. Right? So that excuse marked out, X'd out the strong part. Okay, so those are one of those things that should have been answered, instead of saying, well, I don't care, I didn't look at that. Well, a lot of people did. And fans are very, 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 exactly what fan means. Fanatic. Okay? So they were fanatical about this. And when we heard it, it was hilarious to me when I heard it. But it was no one to shut it down. That's why I'm glad in the interview, Tay Jones said that to clear it up. Okay, so those things should have been said. Wilder should have done that. Not Tay Jones, not anybody else. But I'm glad that he did, because it did show us like what's real and what's not real. Okay, and then we, with our own common sense, we can decipher which is what. And then you can make your decisions. You can accept it, you can reject it, or whatever. But honestly, speaking of the costume, it was supposed to be Lance Pugmire. He was one of the ones that said it. I don't doubt he may have an agenda against Deontay Wilder, but I think what happens when people take statements and run with it, JD's did say, oh, well, his costume was a little bit heavy. That was stupid for him to say, because guess what? People could have took that and ran with it, and that's exactly what probably happened. Not saying it definitely happened. It could have been Lance Pugmire, but chances are I would put my money on JD's. Looking it back, knowing what we know now, I put my money on JD's to say, well, the costume was a bit heavy. As Tay Jones said, all of them are heavy, because the same dudes that made the first or second costume in those other fights, the Dominic Breazeale fight, the Luis Ortiz fight, the first Tyson Fury fight, they were all by the same dudes. So they're all heavy. So I don't know why he would say that then. So he started doing damage control right after the loss. That's what it tells us. Okay? But so if you look at the two losses and the things that happened after the losses, because it was controversy and rumors spreading on both sides. However, it was up to the fighter to debunk those. And Joshua or Hearn debunked it all on that side. They cleaned it all up. On the Wilder side, there's a bunch of shit still going. Shit all over the floor. They got to clean that up. Okay, and I understand that it may be possible investigation and legal stuff, possibly, right? But we can't confirm or anything like that. The only person that can do that is Wilder. I get that. However, all that other shit about the costume, about all the spiked water, about all that shit like that, that things that he could have, he didn't do. Okay, even the bicep stuff, like yo. He mentioned, I heard it in the fight. You know, and when people hear that, people think, whoa, wait a minute. Junior Fa just said you heard it before the fight. You see what I mean? Still, a bunch of shit. Got to clean it up. Got to clean that shit up. Because then when people start seeing contradicting stories, oh, this guy said this and this guy said that and Shelly Finkel said this and Shelly, it's going to look shitty. Clean. Dirty. Okay? That's the difference. Both guys lost. Same way almost. You know, ended on their feet in the same round. Right? But what was the difference? That's the question I leave with you. You guys tell me what you think about these two losses. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.